Old School RuneScape just released a new dungeon in the Kebos Korend area. It has a potentially new prayer training method that can net you a profit while also giving you crafting XP. This method should be mostly useful for only Hardcore Iron Man and Ultimate Iron Man, but can be used by any account. I'm here today to do an hour of testing to see how much prayer XP you can get per hour. If this is going to be a more viable method than doing pest control on an Ultimate, or even the new Myths Guild option for hardcores or regular iron. It probably won't compare to cannoning green dragons in the wilderness and using them on the wilderness altar, but it should be good nonetheless. For starters, I'm bringing max melee minus an infernal cape, dragon hunter lance, ferocious gloves, etc. This is the resources we're going to be starting with. We have 2,000 sharks in the bank, 10 full Forthos super combats, but I have another 100 in case something happens, or 90. 5 doses of extended anti-fire should last an hour. I'm going to be starting with 1 mil cash on me, 1,000 nature runes, and 5,000 fires for 1,000 alks, 1,000 threads, and 917 charges in the Xerix talisman. Now let's get going to the... But first I'm going to need to I'm going to put away a couple of these and pull out some of these and show you how... I have a crafting cape as a way to tellying back to a bank quickly and then getting back. So you want to start by rubbing a Xerix talisman and going to Xerix Gilded. From here, the dungeon is directly west. You could also use the Candra's Memoirs and run south along this path, and it's right here. Otherwise, this is the closest method. If you don't have that either, you can use a house portal if you have your house located in Zaya. So just follow along this path and go down this ladder. Now once you're inside the dungeon, you cannot use a cannon in this dungeon. Let me show you a map of it quick. You cannot use a cannon inside of it. This is where the new Sarachnis boss is, and this is where you're going to be spending most of your time. Now I'm going to give you a little example of how this works. I've already done this, so I can't demonstrate it, but I will try to explain it as best as I can. You're going to run south from here. You're going to need a slash weapon, so that's what the knife is for. Run through this web and continue running south. Slash this web, and then follow along this western path. The dragons in here can drop, along with the other mobs, can drop pages and keys, but I'm not going to be worrying about those during this test, so those can be considered extra. From here, you're going to want to head north from here. Pray mage if you like. It doesn't really matter too much, and this is where you're going to be starting the whole... Yeah, you should probably pray mage. Now this is where you start. You want to talk to this guy. Once you talk to him, he'll give you the option to fight a boss. Do not fight him. You can if you want, but it's best if you don't. If you fight him, you will have to... This altar will become cursed, and you have to use double the bones you have to normally. Once you give him 5 cut dragon stones, you're going to want to come across here by the dragons and jump over this agility shortcut. This agility shortcut requires 75 agility and can be boosted. If you do not have the agility level, there is a second way to get here. There is a second entrance right here. If we go up it, it takes you up right here. The entrance we took is right here. This is the other one. If you don't have 75 agility, you're going to have to use this one. It leads you right here, and then you can just do this instead. However, if you have 75 agility, you can then come from him, go right here, up through the shortcut, and then you're already here. Once you have the temple coin, you come up alongside this path, and then go through here. You're going to want to pray mage to protect from these undead druids. You're going to want to use the coin on this stone relief, and then you can then use it to travel. And you're at the bone altar. Now at the bone altar, immediately pull this lever right here. It will permanently unlock this door. That's very important. Right here is the guy that you're going to be tanning the red D-hides. However, they are at an increased price. I do not know what the price is if you don't have any diaries. However, with Kebos Elite, the price is 40 GP for red D-hide. It's normally 20 anywhere else in the world. Now, after you have entered here and pulled the lever, if you have not killed him, if you have not killed the beast that spawns when you talk to him, and you have given him dragon stones, you're going to have to use 100 dragon bones of any sort. Baby dragon, regular dragon, superior dragon, anything works. If you have killed him, you're going to have to use 200. Once you've used 100 or 200 bones on the altar respectively, you're going to get a key that appears right here, and you can take it. You then can use that key to unlock this door right here and this door for permanent access. If you take this entrance and try to go through here, the door will lock behind you. The same with this door. As soon as you get that key, you can enter these two doors with free will. That, however, is not necessary for what we are going to be testing today. What we're going to be testing is how good these dragons are. Now, this altar, after you've restored it by using 200 or 100 bones respectively on the altar, will basically act as infinite prayer. So what I'm going to be doing is testing 1 hour of super combated, max melee, with piety on, killing red dragons, seeing how much money and prayer XP and crafting XP I can get per hour. I have a stopwatch and my XP has been reset, so let's begin an hour of killing red dragon. Oh, there's the first tattered page drop right away. I'm not going to be picking these up. I'm just going to be worrying about crafting, money, and prayer XP per hour. Nothing else as of right now. However, these are stackable and can be used for a 10k prayer or a 10k XP lamp on any skill, and then after you get that 10k XP lamp, any excess pages can be turned into, I believe, 1k cash per thing. And there's a grubby key. I'm again not going to be worrying about that. I'm only going to factor in the bones and the hide. So we've got the first set. We got 3 dragon bones after 3 kills, 216 prayer XP for each bone, and if we 10 hides, this should cost 120 GP, and if we craft it with 77 crafting, turning it into a D-hide body, it's 234 crafting XP, and we can alch it, and we have profited approximately 6.6k. Back to killing some dragons. And that was after only 2 minutes of killing. So I should mention I have 96 in all melee stats, if you care. So it's looking like I'm not going to be needing food while doing this, so we're not going to factor that in anymore. I also forgot that they can drop ensouled dragon heads, but as I mentioned, we're not going to be worrying about that. However, if you pick them up and want to bank them, that's extra prayer XP. Now I forgot to mention, this altar is good for Iron Man because the Wilderness altar is locked behind the Wilderness, technically, so Hardcore Iron Man basically can't use it. The Gilded altar, again for Iron Man, is locked behind 75 construction, and they both give, well, the Gilded altar gives 3.5 times XP per bone with 2 burners. The Wilderness altar has a 50% chance not to consume the bone and has, I believe, a 2 times multiplier. However, this altar has a 3 times and has little to no restrictions compared to those two. So this is going to be a very good method for just sitting and camping for stuff if you are able to. Again, another thing I should mention is you could swap out this Serpentine helm for a Slayer helm if you're on task, and this method right here might make red dragons viable again. I don't know how viable they were in the first place or where exactly you could get them. However, they should be doable on a Slayer task now. It should be as doable as blue dragons, that is. So it turns out the undead druids can come all the way in here, so be careful of that, I guess. Oh, I guess you do need a little bit of food in case the mages fuck you up. And that should be about the hour up. Done. Now I'm going to finish off this kill because I had to hop because the world got a little crowded. Finish off this kill and it'll be the 3rd dragon hide for a 2nd body. Now while I head over here, let's take a look at what I all got. First off, I'm going to use up all these bones I've got to increase the prayer XP I got. And we're going to tan the hides, all of them, and then make them into the bodies. And we will alch them, which you could do while killing the dragons, but I'm doing it anyway. This is the XP I got, if you can see. Got 19k melee XP, but that was unshared, so that's about 60k XP per hour, along with 19k HP XP. Now the prayer XP was about 22k. That's pretty alright. It could be better, but it could be worse. Crafting XP was 8k an hour, and magic XP was 2k an hour. So it's looking like this method isn't too viable. However, let's take a look at the money I made. So I used 22 sharks, although a lot of them were wasted because I didn't need that many. You could probably bring like 4 sharks per inventory and be set. I used 8 doses of super combat and 4 of extended anti-fire. I forgot to use 1 dose, which is fine. The scales I didn't really keep track of. I think it was about 5% scales. And I used 34 nature runes, or 34 casts, so that was 170 fire runes. And then I made 225k GP off of just alching. So the supplies cost me, this is approximately what it costs. Also the thread, which is negligible, but that's, fine. 213k GP is about what I spent, and what I made back was 225k. So if you take out the Serpentine Helm and replace it with a Nezi, it should decrease your XP per hour by a tiny bit. However, you will profit a lot. So do that. So basically the consensus, no Serp Helm, switch it for a Nezi or Slayer Helm if you're on task, and you will profit about 200k an hour. Also, another thing I should look at is the loot tab. This is what I would have got if I picked everything up. I got 102 dragon kills. I got 2 keys, 4 of each page, and everything else is negligible. 4 ensouled dragon heads, so it's about 100 kills an hour in max melee. So what is the consensus? Well, I believe the XP per hour during the myths, or doing the Myths Guild methods, where you just use the Myths Cape with Dragon Slayer 2 done and have max melee and Dragon Hunter Lance and kill them, bank the bones, and then use them on, say, a Gilded altar or the Wildy altar, the XP per hour is far greater for that. However, if you're an Ultimate Iron Man, the current meta for prayer is either, as I just said, that, but you can't bank them. You obviously have to use them immediately after. So the XP per hour is less than what you would get otherwise. The meta is pest control. So doing rough math at pest control, if we take a look at the table, at level 78 to 81, it's 180 XP per 1 point. And since you should do intervals of 100 at pest control if you're going for 99 prayer, the calculations would look something like 180, which is 1 point times 1.25 or 125, because you get a bonus XP per 100, and that should be about 22k or 22.5k XP per hour, which is about the same as this method. So this dragon method is only better than pest control if you're below 78 prayer, which if you're going for 99, you shouldn't be any lower than that anyway. You should be about here-ish. So effectively, this is not better than the Myths Guild method. This is not better than pest control. This is not better than the Gilded altar or the Wildy altar. It is, however, a completely free method. It also nets you about 10k crafting XP per hour, which is very minuscule considering how quickly you can do seaweed. And the GP per hour is 200k, which is, again, also pretty cheap because you could do battle staffs at a faster rate. So this is pretty much dead content. However, it was nice testing it out. And thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my Hardcore Iron Man Progress series. I also do Maxing a Main, but that's a shit series. And yeah, thanks for watching.